How do you think Doug Ford and his government has been handling this pandemic?
Politics?
Oh, you better get into it.
Okay,
By the way, are we talking 24 inches?
we're talking 30, honey. Okay? We talking to the ground.
Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Brandon Gonez Show. And I know everybody's been like, where have you guys been? You hit 10 episodes and you took a break. Well, you know what? The team needed a beat. So we took a beat, but we ain't going nowhere. We are back and I got some great updates for you. But before I get to that, let's talk about the homework that we need BG Squad to do. So make sure to hit that notification bell, tap that subscribe button, you know how it goes, and make sure to follow us on our socials. So you're probably wondering, why are we out on the streets right now? What happened to News You Can Use? Relax. News You Can Use is still here, but it's gonna fall during the week. We wanna make sure as those news stories are happening that we're bringing them to you in the moment where you can find them, and that is on YouTube and all across social media. In the meantime, it gives us a chance to tell more stories right here on the streets. So let's talk about the big topic that everybody's been talking about. COVID-19, the new restrictions. Is our government properly managing this pandemic? A lot of people have a lot of feelings about Doug Ford. So rather than just talking about it, let's hear from the people themselves. It's time for your voice, for the people, by the people. Kensington, welcome to the Brandon Gonez Show. Let's go, let's go.
I just want to know from people, like, how do you think Doug Ford and his government has handled this pandemic?
I'm not the biggest fan myself personally.
So talk to me, give me the honest opinion.
I just been confused. I feel like it's been open, closed, and the reasoning itself just seems open-ended if you ask me. Like it's almost like they're just using the same excuse, right? And then they're only closing certain things. So I'm noticing the mall is still open. I'm kind of lost about that. So
how do you feel Doug Ford and his government has handled this pandemic?
Bad.
Yeah.
Very bad.
It's kind of just been all over the place, in my opinion. Like, I mean, we don't really stick to one thing, you know what I mean? We go into lockdown for like a week, maybe a week and a half. We seem like we're getting better, and then it's just back to square one.
Doug Ford has kind of, can I swear?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, yeah, he's kind of, it's ironic because he's over his conservative fan base who are business owners, while also pissing off everyone who didn't vote for him.
How do you think Doug Ford and his government has been handling the pandemic?
Oh my God.
You have some words, eh?
Yeah.
You better talk to me.
I'm gonna talk in Spanish. Can I talk in Spanish?
Try me some English a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think about the way Doug Ford has handled this pandemic?
It's all a bunch of BS.
Why you say that?
It's called what you call a pandemic.
I just feel like if we're gonna lock down, just lock down completely, like shut it down, like how Italy did, like
Or New Zealand, for example.
completely. Just do it already, and then then maybe we can go to Caravana.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that Doug Ford is doing a bad job because at least our people are being fed. They have programs out there. I would hate to be in a country where these things weren't available.
I don't want to say I would open everything up, but I would definitely open up a lot more. I'd let people have their freedoms, and at the end of the day, like, we do live in a first world country, so I kind of do believe you should be able to go out and do what you want to do.
Are you an anti-masker?
Yeah, I am.
You know, for a lot of people who question, the necessity of wearing a mask, the thing that they never look at is, what if we were all not wearing a mask? Where would those numbers be? What's been the most frustrating part for you?
Not be able to spend time with family, I guess.
I would like to open up a small business for myself. I feel kind of, I can't find the word for it. I feel just obstacles. It's harder to achieve in these times, especially as a young person.
I'm a small business. I'm a small business owner of a hairstylist. So we are having a very hard situation.
Talk to me. What's going on?
Because it's been 4 months, we close, and we still have paid rent, bills, everything. No way of help.
It's all about breaking down the economy, shutting everything down, keeping us isolated, break our spirit, communism.
You know, the good thing about what we do here is that we keep our distance. This is why we use this. I don't know if people ever wondered, why do we carry this thing? It's to keep our distance from people during this pandemic, because once this pandemic is over, oh my God, my hairs are dry. Don't catch that on camera.
Not as dry as mine. The contrast.
We need to buy some lotion on this team.
If you're healthy, you should do what you want to do, you know? Like, the vaccine is an option, you can go get it, but if you're a healthy individual, what's stopping you from going out and living your life?
I guess the issue is, like, the vaccine, though, it's not available for everybody. The vaccinations, and people are thinking that with more people getting vaccinated, that they would be able to loosen restrictions, made sense. Here's the problem. In this province in particular, people are not getting vaccinated fast enough.
What would you grade Doug for?
That's a good question. If you were a teacher, what grade would you give him?
Honestly, you know, I'm not gonna give him an A+, but I'm not gonna give him an F either.
So what did he have, a B?
He has a B.
Okay,
He has a
not
B.
bad.
I'd give him an A. He's doing the best he can. The opposition, all they can do is snipe at him. That's all they can do. They don't offer any alternatives. They
1 second, sir. We're doing an interview. What would you give him as a grade?
3.
A 3?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like A, B, C, D? I only know those
I
letters.
don't know, like out of 10, maybe I'd give him 3.
Oh, so he would fail in your class.
I think so.
What would you grade him if you were a teacher?
Like, you know when you don't hand in an assignment and you get like a did not complete mark?
Can we just step back and talk about her answer? She said he got incomplete.
You know when you don't hand in an assignment and you get like a did not complete mark?
What about the school situation? Because, I mean, how have you been dealing with that? Like, the on and off, virtual learning, in person?
Well, we decided to keep these guys home
Okay.
and seeing our other parents go through going on and off virtually and in person. I think it's harder for them, like harder for the kids as well. They are looking at screens for 6 to 8 hours a day, which is really not good for them either.
Folks, across the province, we're looking at 98.5%, almost 99% of the schools are currently open. 99.88% of students do not have active cases.
I mean, it kind of makes sense for a conservative government because they don't like putting money into the education system to begin with.
We should also highlight, like, previous liberal governments, too, have underfunded the education system at the same time. So it's not just a conservative government problem. Like, you know, teachers' unions and school boards have been calling for an increase in funding drastically to refurbish schools, to repair schools, especially older schools in older parts of like Toronto and other areas across this province for a long, long time. If that was done right now, this camera, and you had us here,
Honestly, do the best you can. Do the best you can. This is a complex situation that affects many different tiers of people. Continue to do the best that you can. Everybody has a judging eye, but can they do what Doug is doing? Could they?
Don't open up everything too quickly. That's what I want to say.
Trying to just not say you.
I don't want to give up my business because I work hard to build. So I don't want to give the keys and say I give up.
So talk to me about that situation. So you don't qualify.
I don't qualify for nothing. I try for everything. I don't qualify for nothing.
Because your business is too new.
It's too new. I apply for everything, but no, I don't qualify.
What does your business mean to you?
My dream, my hope, but I don't gonna give up.
It's your dream.
Yeah, that's it. But I'm alive. That's the best thing. And all my family is alive too.
If this was Doug Ford right here and his government, this camera, what would you say to him?
I just ask you to, I don't know. I want to ask you to open up, but I know it's hard too because of the virus and the fear, right? So I just want to ask you to help the business that start 2020. We start January 6, 2020, so give us a hand. You say you don't gonna leave nobody behind, give us a hand.
facts, people had so much to say. But you watching this right now, what do you have to say? Boy, better sing. Let us know in the comment section right now. Drop it. Because we're going to continue following this story. My guy, you're looking fresh.
Yeah, respect, man.
Yeah, where you from?
Me, I'm from Montreal.
Nice.
My name is Givenchy.
Yeah.
People call me All Gold.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm French rap, you know.
You're a rapper?
Yeah, I'm a rapper.
Spit something for us right now.
Ok. Tant que l'horloge tourne, je suis dans la jungle comme Simba. Nous avons ceux qui n'ont pas la lumière qui s'éteint pas. La bénédiction nous avons eu. Tu peux pas croire ce que nous avons vu.
I don't know what he was saying, so I just like listening to it.
I know, he had a little flow going on there though, you know?
There's so much to this story.
What do you mean?
Well, we're hearing from so many people on the streets in terms of how they've been impacted and their feelings towards this government. But there's another angle to this, eh?
What's that?
Well, covering this government, like as a reporter, right? There are also challenges there, and you probably heard of Travis Dhanraj, right? Yeah. I trust this guy a lot. He works for Global News. He's the Queen's Park Bureau Chief. We're actually going to be talking with him, getting some insights into how things have changed and what are some of the challenges covering Doug Ford and his government during this pandemic. You ready? Okay. It's time for Open and Honest.
All right, Travis, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us. You know, a lot of people know who you are. Some people may not. If they don't, I don't know how. But just to tee that up, explain to our viewers your role at Global News and what you cover specifically.
So I'm the Queen's Park Bureau Chief for Global News. And so essentially my job is to cover provincial politics in Ontario. And that's been quite interesting of late.
So why has it been interesting? Because we know literally every single day, it seems like what happens, you know, at the provincial level is the top news headline.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, COVID-19 threw a curveball to everyone, to governments right across the world, and, you know, the Ontario government as well. I don't think Doug Ford, the premier, thought that he would ever be in a situation where he is dealing with a global pandemic, where there are lockdowns, where there are stay-at-home orders. But this is what he's got to deal with right now. And I think, you know, there has been adjustments to the way that they have been dealing with this, to the strategy. And I think that you have seen, you know, some of those hurdles that they're trying to grapple with play out in public when it comes to some of these mixed messages.
What are some of those hurdles?
I think, you know, the crux of this is right now more than ever, the public needs to have confidence in leadership. And when they see confusing messaging, when they see, you know, somebody like the premier talking about safe schools at the very same moment where a Section 22 order is issued by the local public officer of health, Elaine Davila, here in Ontario, saying schools are going to have to shut down. They're confused by that because the right hand doesn't seem to know what the left hand is doing sometimes. And I think, you know, that's a problem.
Covering, you know, this premier and covering this government, what has that been like for you?
Honestly, it's been a bit of a challenge. And, you know, I think that part of that challenge has been the fact that you need to be able to hold leaders accountable. And when you, you know, are in a situation where the premier has a news conference for the day and he takes select questions, there may or may not be an opportunity to do that.
In a recent tweet, you had said, and I quote, "After over a year of this, I'm done. This is plain unacceptable and a suppression of a free press. Online for 2 hours and 20 minutes today and skipped over for a question. The Queen's Park Press Gallery executive needs to do more. Cherry picking by Ford's office has continued for far too long. Hashtag Ontario Poly." What were the feelings, you know, that you were feeling when you put this out and the circumstances surrounding that?
Well, listen, and, you know, that was in a moment where it clearly was a bit frustrated. And, you know, I might have been clumsy in the tweet because the intention was not to call out any one individual specifically. But I mean, what I wanted to do is highlight the larger issue. And I'll also just say this, I did get a question this week. I don't know if the tweet has anything to do with it, the amount of traction that it got, but I did get a question. And I was able to ask, you know, the premier and Dr. Williams some tough questions. But the larger issue that I was clumsily trying to highlight is the fact that freedom of the press is your freedom as well. You know, journalists should not have to factor in whether or not they are going to be in the doghouse, whether, you know, if they ask the premier a question that might be considered too tough. And one of the issues right now is that the premier's office can manipulate the lineup.
What do you mean that they can manipulate the lineup? Because I think most people don't understand that concept.
And I mean, it is a little bit inside baseball, but you know, there is a teleconference line because everything's being done virtually now, including this interview, and you call into a teleconference line. And so it is, there's a lot of journalists that want questions to go to the premier, to go to the ministers, to go to Dr. Williams each day. And the premier's office can take whoever's in the queue, and it might be a list of, you know, 20, 30 people that day, and move folks around. It should be that there is a diverse range of voices that are heard at those news conferences, that there's opportunity for the big guys and some of the smaller guys to be heard as well.
So why aren't more journalists talking about this?
Folks are trying to manage, and they are doing a good job of it, and trying to hold you know, the leaders to account the best they can within the confines of the system that is set up.
How do you decide which question you're going to ask when you get the actual opportunity to ask it?
It's a bit of a collaboration. You know, there's so many different parts of, you've been at big networks, you know all about this, right? There are so many different parts of the network. We've got the radio side, we've got the television side, online as well. And so we kind of collectively come up with a few themes of the day, because we have those two opportunities, one question, one follow-up, and then we go from there.
My question to you now, amid the backdrop of record ICU numbers, schools closed in the largest city in the province, and rapid variant spread is, do you stand by that assessment? For the Premier, the Minister of Health, and the Solicitor General, do you agree with Dr. Williams that the response from this government has been appropriate and timely, considering the dire circumstances we are all in, and the fact that a third state of emergency is now in place a year after all of this began?
He was asked that question, I guess about a week ago or so, by a colleague of mine, John Michael McGrath from TVO, and he said, no, he doesn't consider it a failure. And this week again, he doubled down, saying that the decisions have been timely, and it's not a complete success, but it's not a complete failure.
We've been asking people, how would you grade Ford and his government in terms of handling this pandemic? If you were a teacher, how would you grade him?
Listen, I don't want to. It's not that I'm being evasive, but I don't want to put a letter grade on him. I'll leave that to some of the commentators. But I think, you know, that early on in the pandemic, he got a lot of high grades. His poll numbers were very strong because he was seen to take decisive action. He's juggling a lot right now, and I think, you know, he can only go on the advice that he has, and then ultimately make the determination.
So I have to ask, like, do you think that they're playing politics with this pandemic?
Well, he's talking about the framework. I don't understand. I've been covering this for a year and a half, man. I still don't get what's the framework. I joked on Twitter the other day. I said it's like 50 Shades of Gray, right? It's like, I mean,
yes.
It's like gray, and then there's deep gray, and then there's slate gray, and it's like what's happening right now? So I think, yeah, they're adjusting. There's political pressures as well. This is you know, as much as it's about public health, make no mistake that politics does play into some of this stuff.
I know that you know Premier Ford pretty well, even personally. A lot of people don't know this guy personally. Outside of this, you know, and outside of this villain character that it seems like, you know, a lot of people are painting him in. Who is he? How would you describe him?
Let me tell you a little bit of a story. So I've known the family for a long time. I've been in the home of the Premier before, and I do have, you know, a professional relationship with him, but I have, you know, gotten personal calls sometimes. You know, how's your family and things like that. Premier Ford is not a bad person. He, you know, you can question the decisions that he makes. Sure, that's fair game. But you know, I remember I went to Brazil last year around this time. I was very stupid to make that decision and get on the plane. I think it was the day actually when the NBA decided to, you know, cancel the season.
That's when it all became so real.
Yeah, it became so real. And I was sitting at Pearson Airport and I was like, do I get on this plane or not? And I was dumb and I got on the plane, flew to Rio, turned on the TV when I got to the place I was staying, and they were saying on the news, Canadian government's advising everyone to come back. I came back, I got really sick. I don't know whether or not it was COVID. There weren't enough tests at that point for me to get a test. Somehow this information got back to the premier and he called me just to check in to see how I was doing. So, I mean, I think, and we have heard that many times before. He will call people directly, business owners, and check in with them. So, you know, I like the premier personally. I think he's a good guy. Does that mean that I can't, as a journalist in my professional capacity, hold him to account, press him on decisions that he and his government are making? Absolutely not. I can do that. And I think that there's an understanding there that that's my role and he's got a role as well.
You know, I'm going to tell you this. We've tried to get Premier Ford on the show. Still haven't heard back. But hopefully one day, maybe you can whisper something in one of his people's ears and tell him, let's go. Let's get real here.
I'll do my best. He said this week I wasn't cutting the mustard. So I don't know how happy he's with me right now, but I'll see if I can put any irons in the fire on that one.
Thanks so much, Travis. And thanks so much for joining us here on the Brandon Gonez Show.
Absolutely. No problem. Anytime.
What do you think about that?
Sounds like two brothers talking.
Yeah, no, I like Travis. I trust what he has to say. And you know what? He said some really interesting things. And he also commended what we're doing here at the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we deserve some props. But let's talk about it. Because I know at the top of the show, we explained that we did take a few weeks off after our 10th episode. We took a beat, but we're back. But you know, during that little break, we actually had a little fun. We held a special team meeting with the help of our friends from Mary Brown's. And I'm just gonna call this week's good news. Take a look at this. So today we're doing something really, really fun. I mean, we're having a team meeting, but this is no ordinary team meeting. This is a team meeting with a snack. But little does the team know, there's actually gonna be a quiz at the end. You see, I love quizzes. And what this quiz is called is the Mary Brown's Snack Tester. Thanks so much for joining us for this meeting. It's nothing serious.
Okay.
Have you eaten yet, by the way, today? So you know, we love Mary Brown's here. They have their new snack menu. Basically, we're gonna do a little bit of a quiz.
Quiz.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we are trying to do is let you guess what you're about to consume. Keep those eyes closed, buddy. It's definitely a chicken sandwich, yeah. Is it original or is it sweet meat? No, I know it's sweet meat. All right, Mike, congratulations. Feeling it?
Mm-hmm.
Loving it?
Crispy chicken sandwich.
Oh, you're so close. It's sidekick sandwich.
There we go.
Do you know about Mary Brown's?
I don't.
They're from literally Newfoundland, St. John's, Newfoundland. They're a Canadian company, and they make the best chicken, and they have the great, they got their taters, and they got their, new snack menu. It's literally everything.
Snack menu.
Mm-hmm.
This is delicious. I'm not peeking. I'm not peeking.
Just take a guess. Oh! It's a crispy chicken twist.
Okay.
Is that a pickle? I love pickles. It's pickle chips. Pickle chips. I got another thing I want you to try.
Okay, should I close my eyes for this one?
Again,
Full
yeah.
experience?
That's what you're thinking.
There's a good crunch. Chicken in this again.
There you go.
It's not chicken taquito. I know that. A spicy chicken twist.
Ooh, you were so close. It's a crispy chicken twist. But you know what? You're still gonna get that one for effort.
It'll be better.
Your favorite thing on Mary Brown's new snack menu?
I loved the pickle chips. They were very like CNE-ish vibe. Loved those. They were really good.
I'd have to say the sidekick sandwich. I'm definitely gonna need my friends to take me since I've never been. I mean, they're Canadian owned, so we're definitely gonna have to check them out again.
So
you like go in at any time between like 2 and 4.
Okay.
It would be perfect time to go try out one of their new snack menu items. So
Like not dinner, not lunch.
exactly, exactly. Right there when you need it.
Okay.
You know that kamyang that we have?
Mhm.
It brings you right back up. Close your eyes.
Okay.
Well, that was fun. And hey, I hope you guys are enjoying the new format for the show, because this is literally what you can expect from the Brandon Gonez Show every single Sunday. And I know everybody's still like, what about news you can use? Don't worry, it's gonna continue and it will live throughout the week. So make sure you continue checking in for all the what? News you can use. All right. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow us on our socials. BG Squad, we say it every single time. We love you for watching, and we'll see you same place, same time next week. By the way, did I get your name?
Oh, please don't.
No, but
I mean,
so I'm gonna just call you Fine.
Call me Fine.
All right.
I can't. I can't with this guy.
Everything gold.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? Versace. You know what I mean? Gucci, fam, you know? You know what I mean? Real buy, you know?
If we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Okay, come on, team. Lean on me when you're not strong. Albert could sing. His harmony
Did
was
you
a
say
bit
he
off,
could
though.
sing?
Yeah, but his harmony was a bit
Oh.
off. Yours was too. You gotta fix up, my guy.
I was trying not to sing. I don't want to hurt anybody's ears.
Well, you were hurting mine.